Hello and welcome to this episode of Happy Baking. In this episode, I am talking about a truly perfect dessert, strawberry shortcake. As an eternal champion of unbridled enthusiasm, I typically struggle to pick things like favorite recipes or favorite ingredients. But every year when I taste my first good strawberry, it truly transports me. I feel like strawberries are such a symbol, the start of warmer weather and all of the beautiful produce that's to come in the summer months. For me, strawberries are also a reminder to stay present because the season really only lasts so long. We've got to enjoy them while we've got them. It's true, there is a lot tied up in this one tiny little fruit for me, so consider this episode an honest-to-goodness love letter. In my mind, strawberry shortcake is the perfect way to celebrate strawberry season because it's perfectly balanced, just sweet enough. Soft cake, juicy strawberries, and cold whipped cream. It is the perfect combination of simple flavors and complementing textures. So without further ado, let's get baking. If you've watched any of my videos or read any of my books, you know that I'm a big believer that there is not just one right way to do things. And that is why we are going to have two delicious versions of strawberry shortcake in this episode. Strawberry shortcake number one, quick, easy, comforting. We love it. This is the way I've made strawberry shortcake for most of my life. It starts with sort of a sweet, biscuity base, really simple whipped cream and macerated strawberries. It's easy, it's fast, and it is so good. If you are looking for a super classic, go-to, back pocket strawberry shortcake recipe, start here. Here's how to make it. We're gonna start off by making one of my most made recipes of all time, my drop biscuits. In fact, I've even made these drop biscuits on Happy Baking before, and you should check it out. Start by whisking the dry ingredients together to combine, then add the cold cubed fat. You can incorporate this with your hands or you can use a pastry cutter, and you wanna mix it in until it's well incorporated and only small pieces of butter are visible. Add the buttermilk and egg and mix until a shaggy dough forms. It should be evenly hydrated and a little bit sticky. Use a number 16 or 1/4 cup scoop to help drop the biscuit dough onto a parchment-lined baking sheet. They should be sort of shaggy, craggy, they don't need to be perfect. Be sure to leave about 2 inches or about 5 centimeters of space between the biscuits. You can stagger them as you drop them onto the baking sheet. This allows them room to spread and for even air circulation in the oven. Before baking, I like to brush the biscuits with cold, heavy cream and top them generously with some turbinado sugar. Gives it a little bit of a crunch and some caramelized flavor on the outside of the biscuit after baking. Transfer the biscuits to a 375 Fahrenheit or 190 Celsius oven and bake until they start to become golden brown around the base edge and a little bit on the craggy surface too. This will take about 25 to 28 minutes. Ooh, these look perfect. They are just lightly golden. I'm gonna let them cool completely before I assemble my shortcake. For this first strawberry shortcake, I'm gonna keep the strawberries themselves super simple. And truthfully, when strawberries are in season and really good, they don't need very much anyway. I'll start by hulling the strawberries or taking off the stem and a little bit of kind of that core where the stem meets the fruit. And I don't want to take too much of it because there's really good, delicious fruit there. So just take what you need. And then I'm going to cut the strawberries according to their size. Bigger strawberries can be quartered, medium strawberries can be cut in half, and small strawberries can be left totally whole. Okay, perfect. Then I'm gonna add a little bit of lemon juice. Fresh lemon juice is best. This is just gonna give them a little bit of brightness, some acidity, and it's also going to help the sugar start to pull the juices out of the strawberries, which is what we're doing when we macerate strawberries. Basically, tossing the strawberries with a little bit of sugar. Sugar itself is hygroscopic, which means it pulls moisture out of things. And that way we get this nice juicy, saucy situation going on. So I'll add some granulated sugar to the strawberries too. You can do this to taste. This is a dessert, and this is really one of the only sweeteners in this dessert. So just do it to taste. You can always add just a little. If your strawberries are really sweet, you can just get away with even a tablespoon or two. You don't have to add very much. Y'all know I already love vanilla in all forms, but there is no combination more made in heaven than strawberries and vanilla. So we'll add a little bit of vanilla bean paste to our macerated strawberries as well. Measuring with our hearts, of course. Okay, I'll give that a quick stir. Then I'm just gonna let these macerate until I start to see that syrupy juice starting to form. How juicy this mixture gets is just gonna depend on the ripeness of the fruit. Really, really ripe fruit is gonna release a lot of juice and become really syrupy, and really underripe fruit is going to release less, but this will still help kind of soften them and juice them up a bit. As the mixture sits, it'll get juicier, and you can just kind of toss it occasionally to redistribute those juices and make sure the sugar is dissolving completely. Let the strawberries macerate for at least 10 minutes or until you can see that the sugar is totally dissolved. You can definitely do this ahead of time, but remember, the process of maceration will continue to soften the fruit as it sits, so I typically prefer to do this within an hour of serving my strawberry shortcake. Like everything else in this recipe, the whipped cream is super simple. It's just cold, heavy cream, a little bit of granulated sugar, and some vanilla. You can mix it by hand, or today I'm going to be using an immersion blender to make it really, really fast. Before we continue shortcaking, this episode of Happy Baking has been brought to you by my friends at ZWILLING. They sent me their new Extend cordless system, and let me tell you, I'm a fan. It has 6 powerful attachments that all run on this one little lithium-ion battery. How cool is that? Let me show you all the attachments. You've got a whip for cream, a ricer for mashing, a little vacuum for cleaning up at the end of baking projects, a hand mixer for doughs and batters, an immersion blender for soups, sauces, and smoothies, and a mini food processor for little chopping jobs. I love that I can easily swap through the attachments for all different kinds of jobs just by switching out the battery. Best of all, the battery keeps its charge for 120 minutes of happy baking. Check out the whole ZWILLING system at the link in the video description. Now let's get back to baking. Okay, so we covered a super simple classic strawberry shortcake. This one is a little bit more elevated, a little fancier. It's still simple at the core, but it has a couple of tweaks and extra steps that really take it to the next level. I'm obsessed with this particular strawberry shortcake. It's made using my super soft and fluffy cream cake. So good. And then I really amp it up by using roasted strawberries and my extra thick and creamy mascarpone whipped cream. This recipe is actually, it's so hard for me to say it, but it might be my favorite cake of all time. I made this for the very first time, actually for my dad's birthday many years ago when I had first started baking seriously. I was around 16 years old, and I've been in love with it ever since. If you truly want to worship at the altar of the strawberry, then this recipe is for you. Here's how to make it. Today I'm gonna use little freestanding paper à tête molds. This is the shape that's traditionally given to brioche. It's that little fluted, looks like a cupcake or muffin liner, but it's a slightly different shape. That's what I'll be using. I'm just gonna lightly grease them with a little bit of nonstick spray to start. If you are using a muffin pan, you can just spray the muffin pan itself, or you can line it with cupcake liners. Let's start mixing the cake. First, I'll whip the eggs on low speed until they're slightly foamy. With the mixer running, I'm going to gradually add the sugar to the eggs. Once all the sugar is incorporated, I'll gradually raise the speed of the mixer to high speed and keep whipping until the mixture is pale and thick. It should be a really light pale yellow color and super thick, like classic ribbon stage. This process will take about 3 to 4 minutes. Once you've reached ribbon stage, reduce the speed on the mixer to low speed and keep mixing for 1 minute more. You'll sometimes see this step in foaming method recipes. It's said to help stabilize the mixture by knocking out some of the larger air bubbles while still keeping the mixture very light and aerated. Next, whisk your dry ingredients together. We've got flour, baking powder, and a little bit of fine sea salt. Sprinkle about 1/3 of the flour mixture over the eggs and mix on low speed to combine. Keep adding the dry ingredients about 1/3 at a time, mixing just until each addition is incorporated. While you're working, be sure to scrape the sides and base of the bowl really well. With the mixer running on low speed, slowly drizzle the cream in a slow, steady stream into the batter, mixing just until the mixture is evenly incorporated. Use a scoop to portion the batter into your prepared baking cups. The goal is to fill each one just over 3/4 of the way full. Transfer the cakes to a 350 Fahrenheit or 175 Celsius oven and bake until a tester inserted into the center comes out clean or with just a few moist crumbs. This will take about 20 to 25 minutes. Ooh, these are beautiful. They're lightly golden brown. I'm gonna let them cool completely before I try to take off the wrappers, and then I can use them to assemble my shortcake. If you've watched my videos before, you may know that I am deeply obsessed with roasted strawberries. No, I mean really obsessed, like it's a strawberry season lifestyle. You wanna be roasting your strawberries, people, and for this elevated strawberry shortcake, it really is just tops. To properly roast strawberries, you wanna cook them low and slow. This extracts all the juices out of the berries and then slowly reduces them to a syrupy consistency right on the baking sheet. This process does take time, but the flavor payoff is huge. It can even make less ripe or out of season berries really amplified in flavor, and best of all, the color is affected too. So sometimes out of season berries are kind of white in the center. I always say that when you know a strawberry is good, it's red all the way through. But even when we end up with these white centered strawberries, that process of roasting causes them to kind of sit in the juices all throughout the roasting process and as they cool, and it almost dyes the strawberries all the way through with this amplified strawberry juice. It's just killer. I talked about roasted strawberries in another episode of Happy Baking, the Bake and Fill Pan episode, one of my all-time favorites, but we didn't even include recipes in that video, so I needed roasted strawberries to make another comeback. Preheat the oven to 275 Fahrenheit or 135 Celsius with an oven rack in the center of the oven. Hull the strawberries and then you can cut them into pieces according to their size, just like we did for the macerated strawberries. So large strawberries can be quartered, medium strawberries can be cut in half, and smaller strawberries like this can just be left whole. Add the sugar to the strawberries and toss really, really well to combine. Sometimes I like to add a little vanilla bean paste too. Then spread the strawberries into an even layer on a baking sheet and transfer them to the oven. Roast the strawberries until they are soft but not falling apart. They should still hold their shape. Like I said, this process can take time, anywhere between 3 and 4 hours. As the strawberries roast, you're gonna wanna gently stir them 2 to 3 times during the process, just to help keep them coated in those juices. Earlier in the process of roasting, the mixture will look very liquid, just juice and strawberries all in the baking sheet. But as they continue to roast, those juices will reduce to a more syrupy consistency. By the end of roasting, both the juices and the fruit should be bright red. They shouldn't have any kind of browning or discoloration. Transfer the fruit to a medium bowl. If you want to add any other flavoring at this point, maybe you didn't use vanilla paste, you might want to add a little bit of vanilla extract at this point, or maybe even a little bit of citrus zest. You can stir that in at the end along with a pinch of salt. Then let the strawberries cool completely before you assemble your shortcake. Since this process does take a little bit of time, it's important to know that it can be done ahead. You can roast your strawberries and store them for up to 4 days in the refrigerator in an airtight container. I've been making this mascarpone whipped cream for years. There's a version of this recipe inside the book on pie. I love it. It's really incredible for a few different reasons, but the first is the flavor. The mascarpone adds this incredible richness and creaminess to the whipped cream while also somehow managing to make it taste super duper light and fluffy. It's just kind of a special magic ingredient. Even with the extra ingredient, it's still very simple to make, and best of all, the mascarpone actually helps to naturally stabilize the whipped cream, meaning you can make this ahead of time and keep it in the fridge. In fact, it can actually maintain its texture for up to 24 hours, making it a great make-ahead option. I'll start by whipping the mascarpone with some granulated sugar on medium speed just until it lightens and combines, about 1 minute. Then with the mixer running on low speed, I'm gonna add the cream in a slow, steady stream. Once all the cream is incorporated, I like to stop for a moment and scrape down the base and sides of the bowl really well. Then I'm going to keep mixing it on medium or high speed until it gets really nice and thick, 2 to 4 minutes. Finally, I'll flavor it with some vanilla paste and a little bit of salt, just mixing until it's combined. Okay. Okay, this is so beautiful, so thick and creamy. It's ready for us to assemble our shortcake. Time to assemble our classic, super simple shortcake. The first thing I want to talk about is the biscuit preparation. I think it's important to sort of expose the inner crumb structure because that's going to allow it to soak up juices. Some of that cream is going to be able to get into all the nooks and crannies. So what I like to do, you can do it with a knife. You can kind of do it English muffin style by starting it with a fork. I'm just basically going to break my biscuit in half. What I like to do is I like to put 2 biscuit halves on the plate and then start to spoon the cream and strawberries over that. That way some of that juice from the berries gets soaked in. It's beautiful. I'm gonna start with a spoonful, generous spoonfuls of the berries, then some whipped cream. A few more berries, of course, because it's really about the strawberries here. And then I like to put one of the biscuit halves on top, okay? Look how beautiful that is. Beautiful, juicy, creamy. All that strawberry juice is gonna nestle into the crumb structure of the biscuits, but we're still gonna get some of that crunchy sugar-topped biscuit on the top. The cream can kind of get into everything. That's how we like to do it. Time to assemble our elevated shortcake, and mostly the same rules apply as with the simpler biscuity shortcake. I like to expose the inner crumb structure so that it can soak up cream and strawberry juice. So you can do this by cutting the cake, or I usually just sort of use my hands to gently open it up. And I like to use 3 halves of a cake on this as well. Obviously you can do whatever portion size you want. That's just been my preference. So you can really assemble the strawberries and the whipped cream however you like, but I think it's important to kind of layer it. You want some strawberries, some whipped cream in every bite. So I usually start with a few spoonfuls of strawberry. Oh my gosh, look how bright red these are. That's what I'm talking about. These just look so vibrant, so beautiful. Oh, so exciting. And then I'll do a big dollop of cream. The food stylist in me can't resist a swoop moment. And then a few more strawberries on top, obviously, because this is strawberry shortcake, so this is no time to play it scant on the berries. Look at that. That is absolutely gorgeous already. Still a simple strawberry shortcake at heart, but we know, us happy bakers know, that we've taken it to the next level. All right, let's build another plate. Just look how amazing these strawberry shortcakes look. I can't wait to taste both of them. Let's start with the simple guy first. And really nothing simple about it. I mean, this classic combination. You get a little biscuit, a little cream, and like look how the biscuit has cream and juice all up in it. That was what I was going for by cutting them open. That was way too big of a bite to take on camera. And I'm not sorry. What I love about this is how the biscuit is not very sweet. It allows the strawberries to just really shine, and also the texture of the biscuit. The juices really soak in there. The cream, which I kept a little bit softer, is just like swirling in with everything. It is so, so, so good. It'll be hard to top this, but I see my fancy strawberry shortcake here, and I'm going to have to dive into it as well. So this one, I'm expecting a lighter texture from the cake. This is so good. This is like dream realized. If you've been dreaming of strawberry shortcake all winter long, just get ready. Get ready for this. And the best part is you can really mix and match these different components on your way to making your own dream strawberry shortcake. And as always, both of these recipes and all of their components are linked in the video description below. I hope you loved this episode as much as I did, and if this episode inspires you to make some strawberry shortcake, please let me know in the comments or use hashtag #HappyBaking on social media because I love to see what you're making in your kitchens. Until next time, wishing you a very happy strawberry season and lots of happy baking. Nope. It's so easy.